You ready?
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. Mind, body, soul, check. 1, 2 is Joe Dash in the building. I'm in my zone. I've got my sister, my business coach, and this lady is very, very special. And she's gonna come break down some seriousness about what we do with food and some of the journeys. She's very good at articulating this kind of stuff. So welcome Dayna Byfield to the show. What's up, man?
Hey, thanks for having me. I feel so special. I feel ordained.
Got to do
I
it, man.
feel
I got
honored.
to do it.
I feel
I
honored.
got
So
to
yeah,
do
looking
it. I
forward
got
to
to
getting
do
into
it.
it this evening.
Now, for sure, man. I mean, today, food is not your bay came out of my mouth on one live. It came out of nowhere, people. I did not plan it. I didn't sit down. There was no whiteboard and a vision board of
Mm,
food is not your bay. It just jumped out of my spirit because the way women were breaking down food, you would think it was their life partner.
mm-hmm.
So, and it seems to resonate with much people. So when I said that, Dana was like, "We need t-shirts. We need hats. We need."
I mean, that's it. That's it. That's all right.
I was like, I need to trademark. So, what does when I said food is not your bay, what does it mean to you, and what came out of that in your mind? Because
Let me explain. I need to explain some context. So people, you need to kind of imagine the scene so
okay, you
that
have
you
to
can feel what I was feeling at the time. So imagine a group of women sitting in a circle outside in nature in a field, all there on that particular day to move forward and
that
increase
was
their
amazing.
health and wellness.
That was
Amazing, amazing, amazing
I never forget.
event by You Got It Girl community. And we were sitting there and Joe's doing his thing and he's going in and then all of a sudden he said, food is not your bae. I felt like someone came to drop bombs on me. That was literally the feeling that I had. I was like, wow, that's a serious bomb. And I think for me, within kind of 1 or 2 milliseconds, it was like, wow, like you can't use food as a substitute
Yeah,
for other people
yeah.
or as a way to comfort you, as a way to make you secure, as a way to make you happy, as a way to fulfill you essentially.
That's the key thing.
Like you gotta be fulfilled and that food isn't a way that
Mhm.
you're doing that. So it was a really powerful moment. So
Yeah,
for myself, that was the rebirth, really. I know it sounds quite dramatic, but in that moment, it
but
was almost like
simple
a
things.
rebirth in terms of
Yeah, for
in
sure.
my mind, it helped me recalibrate. Like, nah, I need to get
Right.
back on this thing. I cannot be out here using food like it's my bae. Because
No,
I identified, and I have a
yeah.
bae. I have a husband. I have a happy
Exactly. You have
marriage,
a husband. You have an actual
right?
thing.
But I was still like, wow, like I'm using food
No, for
to
real.
make me feel better, to medicate myself, to feel whole.
I'm so happy you used that word because that was the word I was trying to get on the day, and Bay came out
Mm,
instead. I was
mm,
in the moment I was trying to say food is not you can't medicate with food was the point I was trying to get to, but in the spirit of things, food is not your Bay kind of came as like an
yeah.
yeah,
Because you
because
you got it. You could there's some things that don't need any further
yeah,
explanation. And
anyone that
actually
knows me
the
knows exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah, and the most important thing is what the individual ascribes to it. But everyone was like, wow.
Yeah,
So that was kind of like the health side. And
yeah,
then the business side of me just matriculated because I'm now watching. I know what's going on in me, and I'm watching all these women, amazing, amazing women, being like, yes, like food
everybody.
cannot be our bait. And I was like,
'Cause I ended up being by the
I was
pool.
like,
I ended up being by the pool, and they
exactly.
all just came. They're like, "What is that food? Is your bait like it?" And it
That's right. That is right. So you
I'm
have
not
this
used to
whole
it.
kind of
I'm not used to crowds and wanting spotlight.
yeah, and every it was like bees around honey. Like, I remember I took some
Yeah,
pictures. I
yeah,
took a bit of video, and all of these women. And the thing that was so amazing,
yeah.
these were completely different women, older women, younger women,
Yeah, from completely
women
different
who
backgrounds,
were heavily into
skin,
their
skin
fitness,
colors of people,
healthy
cultural backgrounds.
lifestyle, different places in the world, different professions. So that the scene was really powerful. So I want people to kind of capture that. So we've
Yeah,
had
for
this
sure.
this this mic drop moment
We're in
of
a
food is
mansion,
not your
people.
bay.
For sure. We're in a mansion, yo.
Yeah, we were in a mansion.
Yeah,
Listen, guys, you gotta
in a
you gotta
mansion,
get down.
bro.
You gotta hit us up when we do our next event. And
Nah,
then by
listen.
the pool, imagine it was kind of like Ibiza meets
Mm.
Dubai meets Marbella
In
all in
London.
one
That's
in
exciting.
just outside of London. Who knew? So you got this really wide mix of different The women that were around couldn't have been more different if we had tried.
Yeah, for
I should
sure.
actually pull up that picture and send so you can actually post it one of these days.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
they were just transfixed, and it all came from that moment, which is food is not your bae.
No, it definitely wasn't, because one thing I learned along years ago teaching and lecturing, I realized how much help we needed as human beings, how far behind we just were in
Mm,
our self-care, and we doubt everything we say. We don't trust ourselves, and we second guess everything. And I'm like, yo, you have to trust your process, right or wrong. And
mm,
food is a thing that can be the slowest form of poison,
yeah.
or the best form of medication. So it depends how we use it. And that's why I wanted people to know on that day, like, yo, food is not your base. Stop leaning on this
Mm,
emotionally to give you what you think on.
yeah.
Because in reality, you're not losing out on nothing. You know what I'm saying? You're not losing out on nothing. The difference is that you have to just understand that this thing will give you some next disease that you don't want. Like when it comes to food, food can ruin your life, literally. If you misuse, it's like substance misuse. Like if you misuse food, you could die from it. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Whether it be diabetes, whether it be heart attack, all these kind of things. You know what I'm saying? Now, I want to go to take me back to when you were younger. So teenage years, let's say 15, 16.
yeah. Yes.
Is that around the time you started really diving into food, or is it before that? Because
I
you
think
only
for
reason I
me,
asked a question like that
food,
because you were mentioning about
yeah.
you're old enough to have some money in your pocket. So I was just trying to think about that.
Yeah, like food was one of those things that I was like, I just wanted to be able to have an abundance of food that I wanted, where I wanted, when
Yeah.
I wanted, how I wanted. And there to be
Oh,
literally no limitations. You know, as a kid, you want certain things, and we had some difficult circumstances as well,
yeah, yeah.
growing up. So we always had, but there was always this sense of it had to stretch, you
Mm,
know? And
nah,
sometimes the
mm,
kind of extra nice things that you would have wanted, the things that you deem treats, were
mm.
not necessarily available to you. So literally the week I was 16, I got my first part-time job. And one of the main drivers for that was so I could literally buy an abundance of food. And the first thing I did when I got my first proper paycheck, that moment
Yeah,
where you think
yeah.
like you're
I
big
told
and
myself I went to
grown.
dinner straight away. The first ever page I went to dinner
Yeah,
straight.
the first thing,
Food,
and the thing is,
food.
I went Tesco's with a trolley
Went
to
MC Hammer
fill
on.
up the trolley. That is how deep my relationship with food goes, right?
Right.
Most young people are going to buy trainers and shoes and clothes and whatever, whatever.
Straight
I
to
went to
the
fill up
restaurant.
a trolley in Tesco's. Now, part of that was because I felt responsible. I was the eldest in the house.
Yeah,
I
fair
wanted
enough.
to make sure there was like, food in the house. So it wasn't just all about, oh, they just wanted to eat a trolley full of food,
Nah.
but it was so central and so important to me
Mm.
that was literally the first thing I did
Nah,
when I
see?
had money.
What?
Stocked up the house,
Yeah.
but done no best believe there was one or two bags in there that
Mm.
were just mine. That went to my bedroom with me, yeah? Okay, you done know. Went to my bedroom with me.
So this thing starts early, man. I think a lot of times what we don't understand is how we grow up. Me and my in a couple episodes I did with my friend Benny, we talked about conditioning, how
Mm-hmm.
our parents condition us. So one of the key things we learned was that the con- one of the most dangerous things I literally realized in that episode is that we parents from a different era will do this thing where the love is there
Yes,
only if you are like this. If you do
yes,
what I say, if you move like this, if you do your
yes.
homework, if you tidy up, then you
A
get this
hundred. If you eat all
love.
the food on your plate, every
Everything,
single bit
yeah,
of food on
yeah,
your plate,
anything basically. The love is available unless
yeah, only
as
if.
long as if you're available to do what I need you
Yes.
to do. So now that breeds a whole generation of people who are people pleasers. That they
Mm.
want to please people. That's the only way that compliment
Mm-hmm.
work is if they're in servitude because they've grown up.
Mm-hmm.
Compliment only came when they did
That's
something.
right. Yeah.
So now you're a young teenager and then you have
Mm-hmm.
access to food now. You can buy food on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to compensate and feel
Mm-hmm.
good. Remember, it's about feeling good because it's that dopamine
Yes.
rush. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So give me some of the stuff that you were doing. Now you can look back. You can remember with
Mm-hmm.
reflectors. Now you look back. Give me some of the stuff you were doing. You were like, yeah, I was going through it. What kind of stuff? And I give you an example of what I'm talking about. Like one
Mm-hmm.
day I came off the phone with my father. We argued because we never had a great relationship. I ate like a whole, the dozen for Krispy Kreme.
Oh my God.
I ran
Bro.
through all of that in like
The
15.
reason why I'm thinking is because there's just so many times I'm trying to think which one should I pick. It's not, is there? There's just so many. I remember in my early 20s, I was really struggling. Like things were hard, just family issues and money issues and career and job. And I think at this point, and this is, I kid you, no word of a lie. I remember one day going and I was just feeling just sad. You got that just sadness, like you just feel nothing.
It just comes over you and you're just there.
Yeah, just all I can describe, overwhelming sense of sadness. I went online to check what time KFC was opening that day because I was going to throw down. I bought an 8-piece chicken and chips bucket.
Sorry to cut you, but do people understand it? The time she's talking about, this is dial-up, bro. She had to sit there, wait for the.
I had to, right?
Listen to all of that.
I know. I look young and all that type of stuff. Yeah, I look good because the water. But this was back in times when internet wasn't free and fast like it was.
Fast like that. So
to find information online was a challenge. I went to find online to find out what time KFC was opening, so I could be there when it opened for 11:30. I still remember.
Some days I've seen queues.
It was 11:30, and I didn't go and buy like a meal. No, bro. I went and bought an 8-piece chicken and chips bucket.
Or the bucket. Oh yeah, when you get to the bucket, you're in the Premier League of it.
To eat by myself.
So this is like you ain't handing that to no one.
On the way from the KFC to wherever I was going, I think I just got like some work as like a door-to-door salesperson that was purely commissioned. So I thought, okay, I know what I'll do. I'll eat the bucket.
Your commission on
and I hadn't. This was like the first day. I hadn't even earned any money yet. So that was breakfast. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't like, oh, that's what I ate for the day. Oh, okay. Bearing in mind, you've got like coleslaw, beans, fries, all this chicken. Yeah. You got everything.
Yeah.
Afternoon time now, I went and bought a large pizza.
Man.
And then on my way back home, I had the cheek to stop by Greg's.
No way. Did you ever think during this year? Were you ever insecure about how you looked and how people? Did you ever?
100%, 100%. But I hid a lot behind. Dayna was always like the smart one, the reliable one. So I hid a lot behind a lot of layers. I'm a very tall woman. I'm a powerfully built woman. So everyone thinks I'm strong, independent, all of that stuff. So there was a lot of hiding going on, and this feeling that I couldn't show any weakness, or that I couldn't show that I was struggling, or I couldn't show that there was any, and I'm just smiling and laughing and happy, all of that stuff, but just feel like I'm dying inside.
Back to the conditioning. That's the time they were putting you in that praisal box, like, oh, she's the smart one, she did this. So now you're trying to talk to that, but really the food is right. Your pain. So you can understand that. 100%. Could you talk to anyone at the time? Was there anyone around to talk to, or you just kind of like...
I wasn't the person to be talking to anyone. I was the person that people came and talked to.
Okay.
I hadn't learned that muscle yet.
Okay. Got you.
To ask for help. Ask for help.
By the time what's the heaviest you've ever been? Sound effects.
I know. Again, I'm trying to work my way up the scale.
Yeah.
I can tell you in dress size. So the largest dress size I've ever been is, I think I stopped taking notice at a size 24. So I think a size 26.
A size 26
is the biggest.
Was there a restriction in when you had that? So for example, when you were at that dress size, and you went out to eat food, did you feel like people are watching me, especially if you had like or something?
One of the things with me is I've been a prolific secret eater.
Oh, okay.
One of those people that would be like, oh, I don't even eat that much, but then you go into the bedroom and you find the little crumbs and you think there's a mouse or something in there.
Okay, so
a lot of secretive eating, because I felt guilty. I felt so ashamed, like the overwhelming sense of shame about the fact that I know what I'm doing to myself is wrong. but I'm still doing it anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so I would hide a lot. So I would eat, I'd go and buy stuff, put it in my bag, come home. It was this whole like almost like a ritual. Like at the end of the
Yeah,
day,
part of your lifestyle.
no one else is around. I'm just listen, Ben and Jerry's, everything, savory, whatever I could get my hands on, I'll just eat. And I remember just feeling that I was never ever full. I was never full. Do you understand what I'm saying? The volumes of food I was able to get through at times. So I went through binge cycles. I'd go through a time where I would hardly eat anything, and then all of a sudden, I just eat and eat and eat and eat. But one of the things I remember thinking, of gosh, I never feel full. But of course, now I understand that it wasn't about me feeding my body because my body needed. It was trying to suppress those emotions and make myself feel better. And I was using food.
No, for sure, for sure. I mean, especially when you're eating that level of calories and junk
Yeah.
food, you probably even became leptin resistant, and and now you
Yeah.
stop eating. There's no emotional
Yeah.
to say stop eating.
Yeah, man. And it's like
Yeah.
I could actually literally I would know, for example, okay, because these cycles sometimes would last for weeks. They go from days to weeks, depending on what was happening. I almost liken it to, you know, when people who have bipolar, they have like manic episodes.
Yes, 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 yes.
It was almost like that. So something would trigger me, and then it might be 4 days, it might be 4 weeks where this same cycle would happen. So I knew by about week 2, I'm now putting on weight. Because you can't eat so many calories within a specific period of time, and you're not exercising, you're not detoxifying. So I knew I had about 2 weeks to play with, and sounds absolutely wretched. But these are the things that go on within people's minds. But most people are not honest enough to be open to speak about it, because I'm proud of every single part of my journey, because it's made me who I am and who I'm growing to be as well, more importantly. So I knew after about a couple of weeks, now putting on some weight, and then I would feel so bad because I knew 2 weeks ago that if I do this, I'm going to put on weight, and then I'm eating more because
binge cycle. That binge cycle. Give me. I want to know like the psychology in terms of, because you mentioned that like we're not thinking like that. How are you viewing? We know how you view food, in it. It's just like it's comfort. But how does this bleed into other areas of your life? So now you're moving up dress sizes. When you're buying clothes, does it not ever trigger your brain to say,
so I would only go to some places to buy clothes.
Okay.
So Dorothy Perkins, this is not a shout out to Dorothy Perkins, they were consistent in their sizing, boy. If I was a size 14, it was a 14. If I was a size 24, it was a 24.
They had it.
And I didn't buy clothes very regularly. I was never one of those ladies that particularly liked clothes shopping. So again, it's hiding behind that whole thing of, oh, well, you know, I don't need to buy loads of clothes. I'm not one of those women. I'm not like a girly woman that has to go out repetitively and buy clothes and makeup and shoes and all this stuff. So I just made up all these excuses as to why I wouldn't go and buy clothes. And then I'd buy certain clothes, and I'd buy like the stretchy clothes with the stretchy waistband, love my leggings, all of that stuff. It was leggings and a top. That was like the uniform. So if you got a bit bigger, leggings and a top was still, you can still wear the same leggings even if you put on like 4 dress sizes. But like, people, make sure you're wearing something with a belt at some point, because them leggings will have you up, seriously.
So what's happening? Because I really want to talk to young women out there that are going through this, because sometimes, you know, the suicide rate amongst young people is just crazy. And this is very important, because what Dayna's talking about is a journey. She's still here, so she survived that moment. What's some of the dangerous things that people, the young women specifically, what thoughts should they be looking out for that can be very dangerous and take you more further down a dark place if they are going through those binges, they are adding on that weight? What kind of things?
I think the first thing to really, before we even get to the thoughts, the first thing is, if I could go back and do some things over again, is understanding that whatever you're going through in that moment, in 5 years, it ain't even going to matter, you know? It's not that deep. Like, however deep you think it is, it really isn't. There's a saying that if it's not going to matter in 5 years, it shouldn't matter to you now. I know that's easy for me to say, but I got so sucked in by what was going on around me. You know, I didn't do that great academically at school. You know, a lot of my peers did really well, like GCSEs, A levels. They went off to university, etc., etc. So you're not defined by the circumstances that you find yourself in. And don't allow your thinking to define you either. That voice you hear, that we all have, that we all hear, that's not even our own voice. It's a voice. And
Yeah,
we think
it's
that,
not necessarily coming from you.
no, we think that the voice is us. So then we start living through that voice. Oh, you're not good enough. You're not tall enough. You're not short enough. You're not fast enough. You're not agile enough. You're not smart enough. And most human beings are hardwired to think negatively because that's what keeps us on the lookout for danger. And that's what keeps us alive and keeps us safe.
True.
But you're not, you and those thoughts, those thoughts are not you. They're thoughts that you happen to be having. They're not your thoughts, if that makes sense. I think that's the first thing I would say. Okay. Secondly, I would encourage any young person, any young woman to understand that when we have those moments, sometimes what's going on is it's nothing to do with you. It's hormones and it's your cycle. I look back now and I look at all of the horrendous things I did, taking contraceptive injections, taking contraceptive tablets, all of this stuff. And I now know that those things are so dangerous for us, even though medical professionals give them to us. They're the most unnatural things probably known to man that you could be taking. Things that interfere with your vital hormonal system will send you cray-cray.
Oh yeah, for real.
And then that, once your hormones start to get affected, your skin starts to go, your periods coming at odd times, X, Y, and Z. And of course, yes, we're advocating that people look after their sexual health, all of that jazz. That goes without saying. But it took me years, once I stopped taking hormonal contraception, to get back to anything that resembled normal.
Oh, wow.
So those drugs and those medications can provoke the negative feelings, the negative thoughts, exhaustion, just thinking like, I can't do this. It's too much. Everything's too much. So I would really encourage young women, especially who are, I'm not saying that you should or you shouldn't. I'm just saying for me, I know that it really heavily contributed to my mental health or lack thereof it at times. And once I distracted myself from using those types of things, I found that, my relationship with food was better. I'm not going to lie and say it was transformed, because that's not the case. Right. But it was a lot better, because once your hormones start to get out of whack, forget your eating, because your body is just going to be like, give me sugar, give me carbs, and then you'll be thinking, why don't I have the willpower to keep doing what I said I was going to do? And then you start beating yourself up about that. Your body is more intelligent than you.
Yeah, real talk.
It will find a way to make you do what it wants you to do, because essentially it wants you to put on weight, it wants you to have weight, it wants you to have lots of calories, because that means if starvation comes, you're going to survive. It's not interested in, what you want for your life. So it's not interested in that. No, it's not interested in what is good for you. It's interested in, lots of calories, sugary, quick dopamine. We're alive.
Yeah,
let's keep
you alive. Your body's going to keep you alive one way or another. So it might not be what you want, but it's what you need. And
exactly.
That's about the human body as well. Do you think that culturally, I want to speak about, because obviously you're of Jamaican descent, right?
I'm African via gender.
I mean, the immediate part, the cultural, the immediate part. Obviously, if you can, everyone's from Africa, but I mean, like, just how you grew up was more in the Caribbean culture, how you were raised.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
What's your opinion on some of the foods growing up Caribbean that you think is just like, nah, this is killing us? Like, we shouldn't be even.
Bro, like, most of it's not food.
I love it. I love Caribbean. I'm a sucker for
Caribbean. Listen,
I lose my mind.
I ain't gonna lie, it's Christmas time. Everyone knows, like, bun and cheese and ting and whatever is in the cupboard, right? But it's literally like Christmas and Easter, you'll see me eating a bun and cheese, because it's all, complex carbs, sugar, a lot of, even if you're making how can something like rum punch have like 25 different ingredients? I mean, come on. condensed milk,
This, that,
double
everything
cream,
unhealthy on the planet is
everything.
that.
But we love the taste of those
I used
things
to
because
back
we've
that
been
back in the day. Oh,
cultured and nurtured and literally fertilized in our mother's wombs, eating these things. And then we fall out of the womb into eating certain things.
right.
And yesterday I popped a message into the health group that you're running, and just kind of talked about what my plans were for Christmas and how I was going to make certain changes, because I think done is always better than perfect. And sometimes we're striving for that perfection. We're like, oh, we have to get our health 100% on point. We have to get our eating 100% and exercise 100. It's not practical and realistic until your mind is ready for you to do that.
Yeah.
And that is, your mind gets ready based on the habits that you've built, the where you are psychologically, the journey that you've gone through.
Yes,
we have to give ourselves time to move in that direction.
That's true.
I know me, I love my fried dumpling. I am not giving up fried dumpling. No. And my husband makes a mean fried. Listen.
See it.
And my husband's good in the kitchen in control down, right?
But people can cook in the relationship. It's like, oh man.
You understand? Like, guys, can I get some fried dumpling, please? But it's a case of, okay, so how can we make this healthier than what it normally would be? So what do I mean by that? Like, look at your flour that you're using. Look at your sugars that you're using. Look at the oil that you're cooking in. What can you substitute? Can you substitute, olive oil for coconut oil? Can you substitute refined sugar for date sugar? Or coconut sugar? So you can still have it, maybe not as often or as frequently as you would have, because we know there's no nutrition in that. It's not food.
Yeah, it's not
junk.
It's
just junk in it. Yes, but we love it. It tastes good, and all them other good things.
Be on a daily basis. The only thing you take on a daily basis is things that nourish you. What we're talking about is when you want to treat yourself, just find the healthiest version. So it's not cooked in vegetable oil or nothing like that. It's not ran with refined sugars. Those adjustment alone is the win.
Yes.
I mean, if you could cut it out, then praises to you. But
your
mind doesn't work that way. Your mind needs time to make adjustments. So yeah, you're absolutely right about that. 1000%. What happens now, like when you're out and you're going somewhere? How do you handle? Because it's like a bombardment. They
yeah.
Like Westfield, it's insane. It's the bombardment of food from every direction. Like there's one time I actually power walked because I was like, I'm not quitting my fast yet. I need to power walk. And I'm smelling it one by one. It's like they've thrown it in my face. They've thrown Indian cuisine, Oriental cuisine, Jamaican cuisine.
Yeah.
Way. When I got to the other side, I was so proud of myself. I'm like, all right, cool. You can break your fast in 2 hours. You can come back and enjoy all of this, but stay the course and just because then when I eat it, I think guilty, you know what I mean?
I think I live in that zone now of done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
So what is my done? And I'll give myself like, these are the things that are completely non-negotiable right now.
Yeah.
So it might not even be the food itself. It might just be you're only eating between 12 and 6. That might be the non-negotiable. But actually today, if you want to go and have an Indian, you can go and have an Indian, but it better be between 12 and 6. You better have had a liter of water first, because that's your foundation. So are you building a house on sand, or are you building a house on solid ground?
That's true.
So I know, like now this week, Christmas was coming up. I planned, I know it sounds like super anal. And I'm not someone who's super organized, and this is like my normal life default settings. Please don't misunderstand. Actually was like, okay, this is what's going to be in the house. This is what I'm going to have Thursday. This is what I'm going to have Friday. This is what I'm going to have Saturday. This is what I can substitute, make better, etc., make more healthier, make more swap. And even with like Christmas breakfast, so we're still going to throw down the Christmas breakfast, but half that plate is going to be salad, already prepped, already. So you can have your fried dumpling, have your whatever else is going on with it, but we've got to have them veggies in there as well.
Yeah, no, that's the win. I think you got a very good version of what needs to be done, and what's more practical. In fact, it's just finding those non-negotiables. From a fundamental point. So making sure that you're having what you're having on your plate, but make sure the veggies are available.
That's right. That's right.
Are available at all times.
Yeah, like whatever you're eating, I don't care if it's pizza, Five Guys chips, whatever the case is.
Go get
9 times out of 10, there's always don't mistake me thinking I'm sitting here like some paragon of virtue, because it ain't true. If my husband is here, he'd be like, listen, make sure you tell the people the truth, right? But then there's days when it doesn't go to plan. So what do we do? What do we do when it doesn't? We've prepped, we've done whatever, and we're just like,
which is also possible.
I'm just eating like fish and chips today that just cooked in some deep oil.
Not true. Because I don't want people feeling guilty.
Yeah, get back on track next meal. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Like whatever was done for lunch, you've got dinner. Whatever was done for dinner, you've got breakfast, or however you break down your thing. It's not living in the moment of, oh, I did something wrong.
And start feeling guilty.
It's like, okay, so because that whole guilt thing, and I think sometimes we do that as an excuse, because we know that when we guilt ourselves, then that almost lets us off the hook. Oh well, I've done it. I've done wrong now. So
you punish yourself. I've spanked myself now, so I'm good. It's like, no, you're guilty or nothing like that. We'll talk about mindfulness, and that's why I'm always an advocate for mindfulness. You know what I mean? I'm like, look, I've looked at every diet. I've looked through them. I've looked what is about it that didn't work, and I found that it's not the diet; it's the human psychology. We need a diet that can synchronize itself to how the brain works.
And that's tough. Like for me. Complete foodie. Everybody that knows me knows I love my food. Day and is coming. Make sure the royal table is ready. So even when I'm hanging out with people now, and they're like, and I'm like, no, I'm good. You know, they're like, who brainwashed you?
Dayna's a clone.
You know what I mean? Like Dayna's gonna get Dayna's 2 desserts ready. Literally, I kid you not. I've got a friend right now who's on her way to my house to deliver a Christmas apple pie. I mean, come on. And old Dayna would have been like sitting by the door, like fiending for like this apple pie.
Is he here? Is he here?
Exactly. No, I was just like, oh, cool. Yeah. I'll see you when you get here. But I've had to learn to gradually, and notice I'm using the term gradually, to learn to disassociate my emotions with food.
Right.
So one of the things that when we started working together, you taught was that there's a difference between who you are and what you do. So you are a person and you have worth and you're valuable. So if you make a choice and you know you're valuable, are these choices lining up with the value that you ascribe to yourself? So in the early days, and to give people some context, if you had seen me at the beginning of June this year, I was probably about 2.5 stone heavier. I think I've gone down like 3 or 4 dress sizes in that time. 3, make it 3, not 4. Don't want to be telling people lies out here. 3 dress sizes. Tired, lethargic, not the worst skin on my face, but on my chest and neck area. I had a chronic skin condition for 25 years, people. I'm sure Joe will be able to pull up some pictures and maybe splice them in. Chronic skin, like all hair was like scaly, dark, all of that good stuff.
Every time you show that picture, I'm just like, wow. Every time I see that picture, I'm like, wow, you're miles away from that person. And I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? That picture really shows.
Like I was like,
everyone's reaction is always like, she has changed completely.
Yeah, and everyone's asking me like, what have you done? So that was the beginning for me. And in the beginning, I didn't change anything. So when I say beginning, people, I mean like June, July this year, not like in the beginning there was like of time. No. The first thing I did was learn to train myself just to eat between this time and this time. And that was like
that a lot of calories, a lot of excess calories got cut down just by doing that.
Listen.
The secret that weight adding on weight is that eating late. It's the secret sneaky thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Adds on calories. It's because it's a habit. It forms its own habit.
But I'm telling you, bro, it was. I was like, I don't. In my mind, I was like, I'm gonna. Once I tell myself I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, right? Yeah. But I was sitting there thinking, how am I gonna confine myself to eat between 12 and 8? I don't know if I can do this, but I did it anyway. But as I and in the beginning, it was like, okay, I'm just gonna go 3 hours and not eat.
Right.
I didn't even do like the full. I don't even know if I've ever said this to you. I didn't even do like the full 12 till 8.
Oh, for real?
I
Just
was,
like, let me see how
my
3 hours.
head wasn't
Yeah.
my head wasn't there yet. So I started with like, okay, cool. Like, let me just not eat for 3 hours. Let me eat 2 hours after I get up. Let me eat 5 hours after I get up. That's how I got to my 12 to 8 window, for starting to eat at 12 and finishing no later than 8. And then what ended up happening was, some days it was all 2, 3 o'clock and I didn't even realize that I hadn't eaten yet.
You just forgot. Your mind wasn't even on food like that. It's because our mind's on food constantly is why we're always eating. When you're actually
Exactly.
occupied with other stuff, like I've worked 2 days straight and food didn't even come to my mind. That's how it was, just so hectic that I didn't
Yeah.
have time for food. I was outside moving about and I
Yeah.
didn't have time for food.
Yeah.
When I sat down,
But that was not where I was coming from. Even though I might not have eaten a lot, I was not one of these people that were missing breakfast, lunch, dinner, or like, no. At some point, it would be like, sure, it's time to eat food now. Like, come on now, get yourself together.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it was like 12:1, right? Yeah, have a little something. And then I'd eat 5, 6. It was all good. It was all gravy. So then I went through this beautiful cycle of intermittent fasting between 12 and 8, and then it was 12 and 6, and I was cool with that, and learning about what I needed to do. So days when I wasn't feeling 100%, okay, so what can I eat now to make myself feel better? If I've now gone and had a pizza and chips, whatever, I now know, okay, you just caused some inflammation. What are you going to do to bring that inflammation down? I might have to fling some turmeric on top of the salad. It was that type of mindset. So I started to think about it, because I'm now being taught, right? And this is the value of having a coach, a mentor, someone to advise you, that you can reach out to and be like, okay, this is happening. And all the while they're educating you so that you can be self-sufficient, not reliant upon them. That's really important.
Yeah.
So what you were teaching me and what you were teaching us to do was how to be self-sufficient and how to live in any different circumstance. I'm not telling us to do nothing crazy, like you can never eat a bit of bread again or whatever. So there's guidelines in terms of, if you want optimum health, these are the things that people that have optimum, this is what they eat, this is what they do, this is how they think. So it wasn't just about the food, it was about movement, it was about spirituality, it was about our daily practice and how you live as a human being, and how all of these elements came into that. So stress, what you're doing for work, your family relationships. So we were just breaking it all down. And it was going so well. And then probably a couple of months after I started intermittent fasting, there was a particular week I wasn't feeling well. I don't even know what's happening that week. And the 2 days I'd normally fast, I didn't fast. And then it happened for the second week. And then it was like the third week. And I was like, nah. Because the leggings aren't being nice to me right now. I can feel there's something going on right there. And I was just feeling, I felt like I was creeping back towards that lethargy, all of that, right?
Yeah.
And I realized that because the framework in which I've been existing went, then what I was eating started to go as well. The water started to disintegrate. And me and water's relationship, we're still getting to know each other.
Melting away and that, okay.
So it was then like, I've done all this hard work, I'm letting it slip. But I had to catch myself and be like, you see what you did when you first started? You need to go back to that. So the 24-hour fasting twice a week is amazing, but you're not quite there right now. So what are you going to do?
Right.
So we went back to what we did in the beginning. Okay, do 5, because now I'm used to it now. Do 5 hours, do 6 hours.
You got the formula.
Work your way back. So I'm now working my way back. So this is not like a faultless experience that we've been having out here at all.
No.
In any way, shape, or form.
And you're utilizing your knowledge to have it in your back. That's the whole point about knowledge. I tell people all the time, I say, listen, read, because the more knowledge, the more you invest in your mind, the more your mind can help you, because now you're talking about, actually, I've got a set of systems that has worked for me before. So if I'm ever in danger, I can just pull from those systems and say, all right, cool, go with 3 hours without eating first, 5 hours. And I love that, because, they said greatness is little things done well, very, very well, right? So it is about, like you said, I think that's a very amazing thing to say.
Yeah, but the other thing that really helped,
I think you said get it done is better than perfection or something like that.
Yeah, done is better than perfect. The other thing that really helped, and I was actually talking about this, I did a business seminar last week. Gosh, when was it? Friday. and I was talking about high performance environments, right? High performance environments, so environments where everyone in that group has a very similar goal or they're a very similar reason for being there. So being in an environment where there were other people who, like, health is primary right now, you're messaging, you're posting, you're seeing what other people are eating, you're seeing people are sharing their wins, people are sharing their challenges. Obviously you're leading a group, you're coaching, we've got our weekly sessions. That helped me tap into that structure and those principles. Do you understand what I'm saying? I think if it had just have been like, oh, I'm just out here doing my own thing, I don't think I would have so easily been able to plug back into it, because most of us perform well when we're around that same energy, or we do even more than we would have. If someone says, oh, I'm going to come and train you on Monday morning at 9 o'clock, you're like, right, I need to get my kit ready. I need to do whatever. So when you know you're going to have, like, you know, a weekly Zoom call, you've got your group that you can communicate with every day. So-and-so's like, yeah, I didn't want to, but I got up this morning. It just fixes your brain in a completely different sphere than if you're trying to do it by yourself. It feels like you need a lot more willpower. Whereas when you're in that environment, yes, you still need to have that commitment to yourself, but it's much easier when you've opened up the chat and you see, like, so and so has got up with their kids this morning at 7 o'clock and went for like a 45-minute walk. And you might roll your eyes and you're like, okay, let me go, because I need something to post. Do you understand what I'm saying? I can't just be out here.
All right.
With nothing to post. All right, then. So sometimes it's not even.
I love the human mind. I love this stuff.
It's not even righteous. It's not even righteous. It's just like we want to keep up with it. We want to be in the. We want to get some praise. We want people to say, yeah, you did 10,000 steps today. Yay! So I highly advocate being in a high performance environment. That's what I call it. And I was speaking in reference to business, but I think it's health, life, relationships.
As you're telling me, I'm referencing to how your body works. See, people, one of the key questions I get asked a lot is like, Joe, how do you retain all this information in your head? What people will be shocked to know, people that get to know me, I have the worst memory on the planet. I actually don't remember nothing. And so how do you remember all this stuff? I'm like, I used to do this thing when I was in uni, and I anthropomorphize things. So for people that don't know, anthropomorphize means that I'll use characters or something physical that's relatable for something that I found complex and abstract. So in my head, your body is a corporation. That's how I used to look at science. Your body's a corporation. Like in every corporation, it has departments. It has heads of departments, right? So, for example, the immune system is a department, and in the immune system department, your hypothalamus is a supervisor. Your phagocytes are workers. Your T cells are workers. So it's important for me to understand. So how does that make sense? So cool. When you get a fever,
yes,
your hypothalamus is the thing that's turning up the heat. So the supervisor is turning up the heat and telling the workers, which is the phagocytes and the T cells, to go and attack the intruder.
Yeah.
So when I saw it like that, it's almost like a Marvel comic strip. So I can remember like clockwork. So to the point where I remember being at school and my teacher put me aside and said, I trust you and don't take offense to this, but you're not cheating, are you? And I was like, no. I said, no, because I was a person that could remember the whole periodic table, for example.
Yeah.
So I learned earlier on in my life that my mind works in a specific way. And once I learned how my mind works, I can retain all the information I need. So I look at the human health body like that. So I need my body to be high performing. What does it mean high performing? It means that I can high perform in any environment.
Yeah.
So at work, I can high perform there. Why? I'm healthy. I'm focused. I have energy. My mood is balanced. I can maintain stress.
Listen, that is a big thing, You
can't be a high performance. See, people think if you're high performance, and you're stressed out, you're not eating properly, you're not sleeping properly, but you're not a high performance.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. You're barely clinging on. That's what you're doing.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And your decision making is impaired at some point if you run yourself into the ground. If you're exhausted, you're going to make decisions based on convenience, based other than profit, right? Which is what you probably do in that situation.
Yeah.
Convenience doesn't always lead to profit. So I look at health like that. I want to be high performance. But the why I want to be high performance is the real thing people need to find to anchor themselves. I need to
Mhm.
be high performance because of the values. Remember, we spoke about the values you have. Make sure
Mhm.
it matches the way you work and what you're doing.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
if you know in your if your values are you want to be the best business person and become wealthy, then you know that the amount of workload you've just taken on
Yes.
requires a
It's a
body
lot
and mind
mind.
that is synchronized and on 100,
That's right.
because you're gonna burn out long before you get there. So if you
And
know,
one
yeah,
of the things I've found, sorry to cut you, is
no, of
that
course.
I mean I love my sleep. I just need a lot less than I did before. I need
No, no,
that's why
no,
we
no.
have
I
to.
love my sleep, but I just need a lot less than I
I
thought.
need a lot less. So the quality, even about you're talking about decisions, right? The
Yeah,
quality of decisions that I can make now, that before I needed 8 hours,
right,
I'm
right.
at only need 5 or 6 now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You make your
Do you
body a high
understand what I'm
performance. A high
saying?
performance body can work with that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and the level of creativity I find has just I've always been very creative, but
Right,
I feel like I can tap into it a lot more readily
right,
as
right.
long as I'm in an environment where there's not too many distractions. It's
Mm.
almost like my mind has opened
Yeah,
in direct parallel to having a holistic, healthier lifestyle. So I can turn it up and crank it on and just power through and get on with it because I've got more resources, I suppose. It's like fuel in the tank.
yeah, for sure. No, for sure. You do. You definitely do. How do you deal with it? You know, when you first start being healthy, yeah, and like your
Mm-hmm,
family members don't understand, friends don't understand. So the
mm-hmm.
peer pressure comes in. Have you ever had to face peer pressure? So, like for example, when me and my wife became plant based or vegetarian, all the jokes
Yeah.
people will put leaf on the plate and be like dinner served, and all this. It's hilarious. I laughed at it because I thought this stuff was hilarious. Oh, like what do you lot eat? Like what do you like? That was a genuine question for
Oh,
people.
people
What
are
do you
still
lot eat?
asking that.
Like people don't, and
People are still asking that.
I used to literally think, what kind of question is that? Like, but then later on, I started to realize, no, they exist in a completely different reality.
Yeah,
Thought
yeah,
pattern, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So, what was some of your obstacles in that sense of when you first decided, okay, I must try and eat healthier at least?
I think for me, because I've gone through so many cycles of like not being healthy holistically and then eating healthy and whatever, I think people just think, oh, this is just like another thing you're doing, right?
Okay, like, this is okay. Dana's doing
Yeah, she's back
okay.
on
Cool.
the,
Good luck,
being
sis.
healthier. And to be honest, I think one of the easiest things when you're trying to make any transition
Right.
is not explaining yourself.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, most people just like what they know. And when we change, what's happening is it's not us that really has a challenge, it's them that has a challenge. They're trying to make sense
Oh, what's
of
it?
why it is you're doing something different because you're not doing the norm. So
Mm,
one of the things I say to people is like, especially over Christmas, if you're going to people's yard, right? Because you control what you put in your house.
yeah, of
If you're
course.
going to mom, aunties, friends, grand, or whatever, if they say to you, "Oh, we're going to be serving X, Y, and Z," all you got to say to them is this: "Thank you so much, mom. Thank you so much, auntie, friend, whatever. Actually, I've had to change my diet recently due to health reasons."
Mm.
99.9% of people, as soon as you mention health, that makes sense to them.
Yeah, yeah.
So
They're
they
more
back
likely willing
off.
to happen to you. Yeah, they were like,
It
okay,
makes sense.
you okay? Like,
And
is something wrong?
someone said to me, like, "Oh, like, don't you, isn't that like lying?" I said, "No, because you are on a health plan.
You are.
You are on a health plan to not be one of
Yeah,
the 50% of people every year that die needlessly
yeah, of
because
course.
of how they're eating and how they're
Yeah,
living.
yeah. Where's it?
That's your plan."
It's
Because
healthy. Diet is healthy. What else
human
is it?
beings have this need for things to make sense to them. So
Yeah,
you
that makes sense.
drastically changing as far as they can see how you eat, or not eating meat all the time or eating meat at all, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
That's why they push back on you. If you tell
Okay.
them it's for medical reasons, they're like, "Oh, I understand that."
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
stop asking you about, "Oh, when are you going to start eating meat or
Okay. Yes. Okay.
beef
So
or
that's
whatever, whatever."
okay.
And sometimes we just have to learn to box a little bit clever.
Okay.
Because at
Okay.
the end of the
That makes sense.
day, if people want to come on the journey with us, they will see, like, so many. Every time someone sees me, they're like, "What are you doing?" I'm
Even
like, "You really want to know?"
fasting, they're like,
They're
nah.
like, "Yes." "You really want to know what I've been doing?" "Yes, look at your skin. Oh my God, you're glowing." And by the way, people, I got not a stitch of makeup or anything on anywhere. Not to disrespect anybody that has got makeup. I'm just saying, like, this is natural. You see how they try and do everyone advert and whatever? I should be the face of the everyone advert. This is what water does to you. Yeah, and living holistically healthy. So yeah, just like box clever sometimes. We don't need to be out here explaining our whole life to everybody. I understand that it's coming from a place where what you're doing doesn't make sense to them. So give them something that makes sense. They will back up and back off. I think also, like, if you know you're going to be out of control of what is around, eat before you go. Eat your thing before you go. Yeah. And when you go, if you decide that you want to eat what's there, eat it and enjoy it. And then when you go back home, you get back on your thing.
Yeah. Plan. So you're mindful. Just plan. If you want to go there and eat everything at the party, cool. But
do that.
To fast the next day, detox the next day, like, because that's more practical. You know what I mean? It's just more practical, and that makes a whole lot.
And food is such a cultural component. It's celebratory. It's commiseratory. Yeah. Sometimes people feel really away about how can I go to so and so's house and not eat what they've cooked and lovingly prepared, and people might get upset.
You can't say no. I don't want to eat. Like, culturally, some cultures like is a disrespect.
But if you say, Auntie, I've had some health problems, Auntie's like, okay.
What's wrong?
That's it. Yeah, you okay?
Dayna's got the plan.
Have you got cancer?
With the medical reasons, like, hit them with the medical reasons. They're like, what's wrong with you? Like, no, I just haven't been feeling myself. I'm gonna go see the doctor right now, but I just want to be easy on the food for now and stuff like that. Everyone listens because it's serious.
That's right. Yeah. So I found that's one of the best ways, just to kind of cut through that.
They're gonna turn into a journalist. They're like, so when did you start? Why are you doing this? So fake. And it's like, man, stop with the interviews, bro. Like, I don't know. You plan base. Why do you want to do this? Why you not? And man, but that's a very good gem. That's a very good gem. Use the medical route, and that will back off a lot of the conversation. How was it with hubby at the time as well, when you're making a transition? It's like, yeah, cool, do your thing. Is it harder to live with someone that at the time wasn't maybe on their best health journey?
I think I was quite fortunate at the time because hubby had started intermittent fasting as well, like completely separate. That's good. Completely separate. But he's always been super supportive of whatever I want to do. He's also a vegetarian himself, so he's used to.
Finally, he's
just like, dude, come to the gully's side with me.
Yeah.
But no, he was.
He's like the suitcase, like, brings it out, like, I've been waiting for you.
Yeah. No, he was totally cool. So, I mean, I could understand, obviously, if he wasn't, that would be challenging. I think the only time when kind of home and circumstances becomes challenging is like, if someone's in the house and they've ordered certain things, right? Or they're cooking certain things and you're sitting there smelling this.
All that pizza or that McDonald's, you're going to smell it. You're like,
You understand. So that you got to make a decision. Am I going to allow my taste buds to take me away? And then sometimes I've just been like, no, I'm just going to eat it. I'm not going to feel no way. And then other times where I've just been like stoic, like, no, I'm not eating until 12 and nothing is passing their lips until 12 and go with the mix.
I have to lock myself in the room when
or go to sleep.
I literally one day just lock myself in the room and just had headphones on, listen to ocean waves to calm me down. I'm like, no. Because food addiction is real. People need to understand that. Food addiction is a very real thing, and when you're addicted to food, it's an eating disorder, for lack of a better word. It becomes an eating disorder.
Yeah. Now, it definitely. And I know I definitely relate to that. Was what's been going on in my life. And even still, like now with the sugar's like, once I crack this sugar, right?
That's the final boss. When you're
bearing in mind, I'm sitting here saying all of this, I'm still very much on a journey. I'm just a million miles away from where I was. Yeah, here's my ding dong ho ho here. Yeah, I'm still very much on a journey, and I know that food for me has definitely been an addiction because we're out here just eating all this processed stuff. It's not even food the majority of the time. All the refined sugars, and preservatives, all of that stuff is just there to addict us. It's a good business plan. Think about it. You're in business. We're trying to get you hooked on this thing and you're coming back for more. Regardless, think about it. You got people who are on hospital walls waiting for transplants still out here smoking. You got people that have got diabetes, that have had a leg amputated, right? Or a foot amputated. They know that they shouldn't be eating what they're eating, but they're addicted.
But they're addicted. And that's what's mad, because addiction now, you're self-harming. Because
Right.
you know you're harming yourself.
You do.
You continue doing it. And that's a massive,
And
massive
that's the wickedest thing. And that is a shameful feeling when you know
it's
consciously, but that's all very logical.
for sure.
But it's the emotions that's driving our behavior, not the logic.
It's the emotional eating. It's, know, it's the emotional eating side of it, when we feel we need comfort, or we feel uncomfortable, or boredom eating, which is just the most ridiculous one. Is like,
I know. I've been there so many times. I remember years ago, there was a time I was walking down the road, right? And you know, when you're kind of about to approach a parade of shops, so I'm like, okay, there's this shop, there's that shop, there's that shop.
You know, it's peak when someone calls it a parade.
That's it.
There's peak when someone sees a bunch of shops that calls it a parade or shop, because they know the food that's in there.
I know the food that's there, the chicken shop, the computer shop,
because it feels
the corner shop.
There's too much shops. It could be
but
like
everyone,
shops she's talking about.
Two now. I got about 3 minutes down the road. I looked down at a half-eaten chocolate in my hand.
You're like, what shop?
No recollection of going into the shop and buying. Listen,
people black out. It's a real thing. I mean,
and I was like,
people black out.
Huh? And I remember throwing the chocolate away because I was so like, how could I have just gone into a shop, bought a chocolate, ate half the chocolate, and did it so mindlessly? I didn't even realize.
No, it's that real.
People, this is the depth of deepness that I was coming from. If I can start moving forward, anyone can. Because you know, when I see that you're deep in the streets.
Yeah,
I was.
Deep, I was out here. They're like, Dayna was out here.
I was getting caught slipping on a regular basis.
Make no sense about it. Like, I remember years back when I used to try to eat healthy and try diets. The day I said I'll do it, I'll end up in Pizza Hut. You're like, bruh,
why are you doing this?
Why am I doing this? Like, I'm better than this. You want to talk to yourself, like, I'm better than this. Like, why am I doing this? I just said today, and the most embarrassing one is that my mom will be like, "Are you supposed to be on a diet?" And I'm like, wow, this is mad embarrassing, because I think to myself, yeah, I'm supposed to be, because I'm telling my mom, like, Mom, I'm eating clean. I gotta work.
Yeah, so please don't stop. Please don't cook all your delicious food for me.
And my mom would she will happily adjust her cooking for
us. 1 second, I just saw it in the charger for the phone. Yeah, go ahead.
She will happily, make the adjustments for us. If I say, Mom, I can't eat that much salt, she'll make me something separate. But
yeah.
She that day she made something separate for me, some more veggies, but in the same stew, but something I can have.
And you were just there in Pizza Hut.
Not only did I eat what was there, I had a dessert before my food was being made. So my mom watched me. She didn't say nothing. She watched me eat an apple pie with custard, two slices. She didn't say nothing to me. She's like, "Food is coming. Are you gonna still be able to eat?" I'm like, "Yeah, listen, I need that." So when the food come now, my mom made 2 bowls. I went and took the bowl packed with meat and chicken. I took that bowl. So these times a bowl next to it with veggie in it. I was.
Did you see that?
I went to go sit down, started munching. My mom didn't say nothing. She let me finish everything, and then she was like, "The other bowl is the vegetable bowl. How are you supposed to be on a diet?" The shame that came over my soul.
Yeah.
I had nothing for her. I had nothing to say. I had zero for her at that point. At that point, I was just sitting there like everyone's left the table, has been famous. I'm still at the table just like this. Like, I need to get my shit together. Like, I need to.
Thankfully, food is not your bae anymore.
But this is how it becomes such a mad thing, because I'll have joint pain because I played a lot of basketball when I was younger. So joint pains, I have all this stuff. I'm like, I'm young. Why am I having all these pains? So when I started eating properly and looking at my body, I was like, it feels good not to have none of that pain, because you start coping with
for real. Yeah, it becomes normal.
But you just cope with it. You think this is life. Like when you're saying to me, I've had this for 25 years. Cool. I just thought.
I know. I don't like it, but.
Yeah, it is what it is. You accepted it. But actually, it's like, actually, I can get rid of this thing if I just put in the work. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the context that, when I see things on Instagram, people are like, the myth, just eat what you want. I'm like, my only danger with that, I'm like, please add context. And the context is exactly what we're talking about. Like, look, if you're going to have that burger and stuff, like, find a healthier bun. Find a burger that's much more lower in cholesterol. That's what we're talking about. Don't just eat it because you feel like eating it. Still make the effort, because that's the difference between you moving forward.
Yeah.
As you are. So that
really. I think so. And it's making a decision that this is like a minimum standard. This is my minimum standard here. and everyone is going to have their minimum. And this is like my aspiration
Sure.
where I'm growing to be, and finding yourself consistently in between those two things. So it's unacceptable for me now, you know, to get to 2:00 and I had no water. I'm like, no, this can't run. Whereas before,
that's the last thing I was going to mention to you. What's your struggle with water? Thank you very much. What makes it difficult? What are some of the difficulties with getting water?
I think for me, I need to have it in front of me to drink it.
So outside of
my mind just doesn't go there. Even though I know I will be thirsty, but the time I recognize thirst is like hours later. If it's there, if it's on the table, if it's on a bottle, I will drink it. If it's not in my sign of light, I can't even speak, eyesight.
You drink more water.
That's I need to drink more. I finished my glass. If I can't see it, I don't drink it.
It's outside our mind situation.
Yeah. So I have to like put systems in place where I've got water in my eye line. I will drink it. But before, when I didn't, you know, there was a time when I bought a couple of bottles. My son took one. 3 days later, I'm like, hang on, I've hardly had any water for the last 3 days. Don't touch my bottle ever again. Yeah. But I just make peace with it. You know, I have a certain amount that I aspire to drink every day. I have a minimum amount that I'm like, okay, we get it here, we're good. Yeah. But I know that is going to be a longer term piece of the puzzle. Okay. But it's looking at where I've come from. I could be someone who didn't really drink much for 3, 4, 5 days. So to be stacking water every day, right? As opposed to maybe twice a week, we're moving in the right direction. And I think sometimes we look at like our health and our nutrition and we expect everything to be on like an even keel. It doesn't work like that.
It definitely doesn't.
So, you know, the food is more there than the water, definitely. You know, I've always been someone that walked a lot. I didn't really do much in terms of like classes, gym, all that type of stuff. I walk. I will go and walk for 45, 50 minutes, an hour, and not even blink.
Okay, so you got that.
So that bit is not so challenging for me. If we're talking about now, you've got to now have a trainer, you've got to go to gym and all that, that's a different paradigm altogether. So it's kind of like, okay, these are the different bits. There's like your mindfulness, now sitting down and eating and not rushing, like rush. What to get? So there's different bits to the equation, and I know I'm at different stages in the different bits.
Yes.
So I don't expect myself to be mindful eating where I am with my intermittent fasting.
True.
So then I'm like, okay, you know you're here, and you know you're here with that. You just need to you need to be working on raising that and getting to the next level.
That's true. That's powerful. Dayna, that is very, very powerful. I want to let the people know about Renegade Business.
Yes.
Because since Dayna came on, I've learned so much. I could tell you first-hand testimonial. I've learned so much, and just making that adjustment makes all the difference in the world. So I wanted to speak about Renegade. So for people out there, you know, we have to support Black business. It's very, very important. And small businesses in general as well. So tell us, because I've learned so much and my business has done well from having Dayna. Tell us about Renegade, because I really like that name. I like the name Renegade. It seems like we're on.
Thank you. Yeah. So Renegade was kind of like it was an ode to the different, you know, kind of looking back at my life and on our co-founder and leadership team's life. I mean, coming from single parent household, fantastic, amazing mother who's the best communicator hands down I've ever met, right? 1 minute she'd be talking at the school gates to a mum or dad, then she'd be talking to the local MP, then she'd be speaking to like heads of state. She knew how to roll like that. So I got a fantastic education in communication from her, but life was tough, you know, being a single parent, having 3 kids. I was a teenage mum, experienced homelessness in my early 20s, and went from literally benefits to the boardroom within about a 3-year span. Went to the job center to obviously find a job, ended up going on a course. Long story short, the directors of that college offered me a directorship position on a Friday. I just finished being a student. On a Tuesday, I was leading a team meeting. So my life has been very much kind of renegade and a series of beautiful happenings. I've done everything from run a financial education company, have worked, led, and managed businesses with revenues up to 290 million. I said million, not thousands, 290 million. So Renegade Business really came out of the culmination of 15 years of practical experience with myself and our co-founders as well. And really what we're about is helping time poor, ambition rich entrepreneurs break free from being the center of their business universe, and really helping people build business on purpose. We're all about, doing good business, making money, helping people, getting wealthy, but actually supporting organizations that have a higher purpose over and above just making money. We're a living wage employer, and we're also a disability committed employer as well. We have a hiring policy of looking all over the world for the best talent. So we're going to be hiring some people in places like Jamaica, Sierra Leone. So we want to use our business for good. Essentially, we have coaching, mentoring, and business services for entrepreneurs to really help them grow and scale. And what we do is we leave our clients with more time, more freedom, a better business than what we've founded in, and also very crucially, a plan to either be able to sell their business or to transfer it to the next generation. Now, a lot of our business owners love what they do. They're never going to leave their business, but having that choice about how much or how little you're actually in the day-to-day working operations of the organization is critical. I spoke to a lady the other day and she said her family last year was the first year in 10 years they'd gone on holiday, because mum and dad they're always in this business.
Yeah, for real.
And that's the story of most people. So we want to help amazing entrepreneurs that are doing good in the world, that have fantastic products, services, like Joe, who's healing a whole generation and teaching people that food is what they pay.
Try and get them off the addiction, get them off
the yeah, man, expand globally. We have some very successful clients who are in a myriad of industries, right the way from PR. One of our recent clients has been in PR for about 20 years, very successfully international, but she was working very much one-to-one and wanted to move away from that. So we helped her develop a membership site, and she's still got her core one-to-one work, but can now be a lot choosier in the best of ways about who she's taking on. And now she's got a membership site that hundreds of people are benefiting from every single month. It's generating fantastic revenue. So she's now been able to take that step back and really develop something that's actually really impacting a lot more people than what that organization was able to before. So PR, branding, media training, get at FP Comms, F for Freddie, P for Papa Comms, founded by the incredible Nicola Millington.
That's dope. So you can, is it renegade.com or .co.uk? What's the website?
So the website is www.bemorerenegade.com. So that's www.bemorerenegade.com. And if you want to get at us, find out a little bit more about what we do, please do visit the website, or you can contact us directly via email using hello@bemorerenegade.com. That's hello@bemorerenegade.com. And yeah, we'd love to kind of talk to you about what we do as an organization, what we stand for, and how we can help your business grow and move forward.
That's really dope. For people that, if you haven't had a business yet or you're looking to get into business, trust me, you spend 80 hours a week easily trying to do your business and get lost in the sauce and not spend time with your family. We've learned from the previous entrepreneurs that some of the sacrifices they make in time, and if you want to still find a good balance while still making your business run, then get in touch. Trust me, I've used it. I can stand on it. You need someone to just explain certain things and help and nurture the business with you. So it's very, very, very important. Dayna, thank you for your time. Thank you for sliding
You're
through.
welcome.
I appreciate it. Doing this podcast is about introducing people to my network of people that I find incredible. And we've learned a lot. So if you've been,
Thank you.
We've learned so much about the psychology of how people go through that process. We've been very candid about how she felt about the process, how people hide things and nobody knows, and how food can really be addicting. You could just black out, in a carnival of food and then wake up
It's
with bricks in your mouth.
listen,
You don't even know
listen,
how it
just wake
happened.
up like with food all over the
You know, in
place.
your mouth, like you binged on top. You're like, what happened? What happened last night? You're like, Nando's everywhere. You're like, do we have a party? You're like, yeah,
Listen,
by
it's
yourself.
serious out here, and people are suffering.
Wow,
I think that's the most important thing. Food is one of those things where people look at, if you're having challenges with food that are not anything to do with, for example, and this isn't disrespectful, but someone's got anorexia nervosa or something very serious, a condition like that, they're treated very differently, and they're treated more like someone who has an illness than
right.
someone who has a food addiction and maybe is very overweight or is now unhealthy because of food. So
Right.
I think even that kind of adds to the shame aspect of it, because if someone says, "Oh, they're anorexic," people are like, "Oh my god, like, what can we do? How can we help?"
Yeah.
And especially as a community, when people are like, "Oh, they're just stop eating so much," but it's not. It's never that
That's
simple,
simple.
because
Nah,
there's a
it's
deeper
psychological.
reason.
Nah, it's
Like you said,
definitely.
like it's self harm. You don't get to being 50, 130, 200 pounds overweight just because you eat more food than somebody else.
Nah, you're just going at it.
I mean, there's a reason, and there's something else that is going on. But I also want to give you a big shout out, because you're incredible. We met 2.5 years ago, the first time, and I was just transfixed with you and everything that you do. And I remember before the You Got It Girl event in June, I said to my husband, "Listen, if you see pictures of me next to Joe, like skin and teeth like this, just allow me, because I love this brother, like seriously, in the most platonic of ways.
I
We're all
know.
very good
That's
friends."
it, man. That's my
But I
sister.
was like, don't get mad. Like this is my time. This is my time. I'm just skin and teeth. Yeah, just allow me. Like let me just ingratiate myself in all the greatness. But yeah, big up to you. I think it takes someone who's very focused on what they can do for others. Because to give you guys context, and this is not an invitation to be asking people to borrow money, but Joe is a very successful entrepreneur in many different areas. He's previously already built businesses that are well into the six figures. So could have just well and turned around and said, "Well, I know how to do it. I don't need to work with anybody else or hire a team or a firm or work with a coach." But because he cares so much about making this business the best and the right thing for people, that's why he was like, "Yeah, let me be open to," right? There's a special type of person to do that, and someone that really is on their game in terms of what they want to provide, what they want to produce, and how they want to impact people. So I just want to testify to that. It's been incredible working with you, and I continue to, always enjoy and look forward to see where you're going and where the business is going next.
That's dope. That's dope. Mind, body, soul check. It's been another amazing episode. I've had my sister here, Dayna Byfield. You heard her. Renegade is the situations. Get involved. Get your business right. Get your money right. You see how the government doing us. We need to look after
Mm,
ourselves. We all we got. You dig? So quick one, quick fire. Vaccine.
yes.
Yes or no?
No, hell no.
And with that one, we end.